Thank you very much. Hello my beautiful geekies, and welcome to my review for Elvis and Nixon, directed by Lisa Johnson, written by Joey Segal, Hannah Segal, and surprisingly, Cary Elwes. And it stars the fantastic talents of Michael Shannon, Kevin Spacey, Colin Hanks, Evan Peters, Alex Pettyfer, and Johnny Knoxville. This movie is based on the untold story of the meeting between President Nixon and the King of Rock and Roll himself, Elvis Presley. And the story surfaced from the most requested photography in the historical archives of the United States. It's this fantastic photo right here of a legendary meeting that no one knows the story of. I was really excited to see this movie. I mean, Elvis Presley wanting to be a federal agent, wanting to personally meet the President of the United States at the time and ask him to be an agent undercover. And it's almost like having Elvis asking the government and the president to be a superhero, to be a fantastic undercover cop, a detective, whatever. Because of all the flashy clothes he wears, his personality, being the king of rock and roll, being an entertainer. I was really looking forward to this movie, and if you haven't guessed by now, I'm a huge Elvis Presley fan. Thank you very much. Michael Shannon brings the personality of Elvis to life. When I first heard about this movie, and I knew that he was going to play Elvis, I was like, that is not a fit. Crap my bag, eat my own shit. It is a fit. Michael Shannon, what a terrific performance. Bringing the king of rock and roll to life. All his flashiness, all his real mannerisms. It is really one heck of a performance. And so does Kevin Spacey, although we'll talk about that in a little bit. He brings Nixon to life as well. His mannerism, his sport. I mean, you watch Kevin Spacey in this movie, you're watching Nixon. I don't know the difference of heights between Michael Shannon and Kevin Spacey. I'm guessing that was the real difference of heights between Elvis and Nixon. And they really did a very good camera trick and played a little bit with the camera to give us this reality, to bring us both these personalities to life and make us believe that we were watching these real people. All the other people I've mentioned, Colin Hanks, Evan Peters, Alex Pettyfer, Johnny Knoxville, they all do really good parts actually. When I first saw that Johnny Knoxville was in this movie, I was really taken aback a bit because I was just guessing that he was going to be a little too over the top. But he really wasn't. Granted, he didn't have much opportunity to be, but I'm just glad he wasn't. And Colin Hanks, along with Evan Peters, they really steal some scenes in this movie. They both have great chemistry, they both have great scenes, they both have great dialogue, and their characters are really funny and interesting. And you're probably thinking, why haven't I heard more about this movie? Number one, it's because it's produced by Amazon Studios. Number two, it's because this movie can really disappoint you, and it wasn't made a big deal out of for good reason. Now look at the plot. The meeting between Elvis and Nixon. That is really the last 25, not even 30 minutes of this movie. And when that scene happens, it's engaging, it's riveting, it's dynamic, it has great dialogue, it's got great camera work, great acting once more. It really is fantastic, that whole scene spent in the Oval Office. However, the road to get to that, it's really of you getting to know a little bit of Elvis as a person and not the flashy superstar entertainment king of rock and roll that you might know. As I said, Michael Shannon plays a really fantastic role in this, but it just never becomes the movie you're wanting to see. Even as an Elvis biopic, it just never really goes full throttle into seeing Elvis as a person and analyzing the personality of this man, who he is as a human being even. It really becomes a movie of seeing Elvis going around to this person or that person to maybe trying to get into the president's Oval Office and have a meeting with him about becoming a federal agent. As I said, I can't call this movie bad by any means. Great performances, it's fairly well directed, but the pacing, even in that beginning part of the movie as it almost becomes an Elvis biopic, it is really painfully slow in fact. Elvis is a completely different character than the movie he's inserted on in the first hour of this movie. and President Nixon, played by Kevin Spacey, really doesn't come in until half an hour past the beginning of this movie, and then he disappears again until the third act when they finally have that meeting. I have to be honest with you, and this movie is disappointing. It is never that movie that the plot describes, and it is never a good movie on its own trying to be another thing. But it is a solid movie with great, fantastic performances surrounded by secondary great performances. It is a fairly well directed movie. It has a feeling of the 70s, although it can kind of bother you how everyone has the same haircut. The color palettes are beautiful, and the meeting, the third act of this movie, is really fantastic. In my opinion, it makes it all worth it, but that doesn't save Elvis and Nixon from being just a C+. What did you think of Elvis and Nixon? Have you seen it? Probably not. Go check it out on your Netflix or Redbox, or catch it on TV sometimes. Don't pay to go see it in the theaters. Are you a big fan of Elvis Presley? Are you a big fan of President Nixon? Let me know all of that in the comments below, guys. On Wednesday, 2 days from now, I am seeing Suicide Squad. Expect a non-spoilers review for that on Wednesday night, followed by a review for Bad Moms, followed by a spoilers review for Suicide Squad, and after that, my Q&A for Suicide Squad, in which I will give the biggest giveaway in this channel so far. Leave your hashtag SquadQA and as many questions you want about anything you want in the comments below if you haven't. And as you go to check the hashtag in the description, also check out my Facebook and my Instagram and my Pop Price Guide page. Those are all the links in the description below. I hope you stalk me on the internet, and if you haven't done it yet, please subscribe by clicking the button below the video box and join our beautiful geeky community, and we can be geeky united. Thank you very much. Also give this video a like and share it with anyone you know that loves movies and wants to have a conversation about them. Any fan of Elvis Presley and President Nixon. As I said, all those special videos and reviews are coming for you this week, so I hope to see you all there, right here, in the Geekness Overlord channel. Cheers!